Hello everybody. This is my second video supplement to my personal reading history blog, and I'm doing it now because I have finished reading volume 7 of The Story of Civilization, The Age of Reason, and a commentary would be very boring on this, but of course a video could be a lot more interesting. So we'll talk a little more about timelines. I should say I'm making very good progress. I have 4 volumes to go, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish all 11 volumes by the end of the year. I also thought it'd be nice to change the setting up a little, because that last video, when I looked at it, I saw a lot of fans and ceiling. I kind of got a headache. So this is a little different. It's kind of like a fireside chat, right? Because that's our fireplace. And it was decorated by our granddaughter. So Abigail brought these beautiful flowers this morning. And then a couple days ago, she decorated the fireplace in that way. We don't usually have this chair here in the middle of the room either, but it's here and by the coffee table, so here we are. So timeline. Here's my newest timeline. Usually I do, especially with Durant, I do one book equals one timeline, or I'll do one event, like I did a World War II, one event equals one timeline. But this time I combined the two because I found that a lot of the events in this book, such as like the reign of Henry VIII, really were out of context without the Reformation as a reference point. So here's my timeline. The years are, you see the 2 books. The years are 1300 to 1648. And then once you get your years, of course you have, well, I want to show you, of course, I use the Silos Baking Company, the Magnolia Market Baking Company cupcake carrier, and I like the 4 panels because the 4-pack carrier has equal size panels, and then folds up just like that. So based on past experience, and you have to divide your years up, right? So I've got 350 years here, so I used 25-year intervals based on past experience. That works pretty well. And you know how to make a timeline. You put the event here, you know, the date, a little line, boom, you describe the event. So I like to use only pencil for this part of the timeline. A ruler for all the lines, otherwise you get a very messy looking timeline. And I even highlighted my interval years with red this time. That's a nice touch. And then the upper space, you know, not to go to waste, usually I'll include up there maybe the literature of the era, personalities, important figures, and their birth and death dates. So there's my timeline. It's coming along really well. It's not quite finished. And it's worked out particularly well this time because I noticed an irony, which was that while I'm filling in all this little stuff, I was simultaneously getting a big picture of the era. So the individual date, but where it fits in the big picture. And so what I really saw was that the Catholic Church had become a very powerful governing institution that had replaced the Roman Empire. And that as the modern era came about, the modern age, they say 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, brought us into the modern age. As that happened, the church, not so much as the faith, its faith and its teachings, because obviously it's persisted until today, but the church as a governing institution gave way to the growth of the modern age, rise of nations, states, more commerce, rise of a middle class, etc., etc. So big picture, little picture, so you can see how they work together. That's why the timeline is so good. So speaking of that era, there were a lot of thinkers, intellectuals, philosophers that influenced the modern age and have right up into our age. you know, the Enlightenment, and then, of course, our modern era. So I thought some of you might like to to take a quiz, because I know that all of you are very smart. So this is not an open book quiz. This is a quiz where you just draw from your storehouse of a lifetime of learning. So I would say put on your thinking caps. Look, I happen to have a thinking cap right here, and I'm going to put it on. Because when I put this thinking cap on, I don't feel smart, I get smart. And you will too. So put your thinking cap on, and here it is. Here they are, random list. If you can't see it here, it's on the blog. Got an Italian in there for good measure. And the idea is to put these in chronological order, because for me, my mind was swimming. Sorry about that light. I couldn't, who influenced whom, who came first, who came next, etc. So that's a little chronology. If that doesn't meet your fancy, perhaps geography will. So we had talked about how places are important and maps. So these are some places. I'm not saying these are the most important places, excuse the scratch outs, but they're places that really stumped me in terms of, holy cow, where is this? So there you go. Remember, you can't use any books or maps. And be sure to submit your results. You check your own work, right? And just tell me, did you get 5 out of whatever they are, 5 out of 10? Hey, 10 out of 10, I'm sure there are going to be some very good scores. And maybe there'll be a prize. So, thank you for watching. And I'm just going to leave my thinking cap here, because I don't think I have to be that smart for the rest of the day. And I hope to see you next time.